Yo, what's good, my peoples? It's your boy, Big Chris, aka the Compton Animator, and I'm here to bring you another WWE main event, NXT, and SmackDown review. So tonight, before I get into the reviews, let's hit you up with some news first. You may already know this or not, but WWE was in Japan today, and I think all this week after they got out of Canada. So they was in Japan doing live tour stuff. You had Hulk Hogan was down there and they was supposed to be signing a new wrestler, and I think we heard, I don't know for sure if they said exactly this was true, but supposedly Kenta, one of the biggest stars in Japan, was getting signed to the WWE, and they were making a whole big scene of it out there. So, they were doing all this stuff down there, and it was pretty interesting just to see them, do all this stuff, Instagram pictures and stuff like that. There's also been talks of other guys signing, like Willie Mack, Prince Devitt, Kevin Steen, and stuff like that. So I'm gonna be very interested to see what, especially the Fed, does with all these, new guys, Kenta, Kevin Steen, Prince Devitt, and Willie Mack, that they try to bring in and figure out, okay, where these guys are going to go and how they're going to position them. Because guys like Kenta is, kind of up there in age, but can still be very useful to the WWE. So I'm hoping that they, can really do something good with these guys, and hopefully they get them all in there. And I think they will all do very well inside the WWE for bigger size guys like Willie Mack and Steen. I think those two guys, look at the way Bray Wyatt is handling himself up on the main card, or a guy like Rusev, who are not crazy physically fit but are bigger guys, and if you just get them really good shaped, I think you can really play them off real well. So hopefully they can do something fun with these guys. So next bit of story was Kurt Angle. Right now in TNA, he's basically he's playing the role of general manager, I guess. I don't understand what his particular role. I haven't really watched it. Took a couple peeks at what's been happening on their shows, but on JR's podcast, he's basically said that he was offered a contract by TNA but declined it, and he's not sure what he's going to do from now. He has been He has been going through a lot of injuries. I think he's out right now with an ACL tear, and we don't understand, okay, where's he going to go from here? He is, like I said, he is doing a quote-unquote managerial role on TV, so I don't know. I would like to see him come back in the WWE. I don't know if I want to see him do any more wrestling. That's a thing, he's very injured and stuff like that. I don't understand if he can do it or if the WWE even let him do it. So, I would love to see just him come back in a managerial role for about a year or so, and then possibly push that on to him going down to NXT and the Performance Center and helping those guys out to build up some really good guys. And also I can see him doing stuff with MMA guys, since he is a real wrestler, going to there and helping guys train and probably get on a camp of some team or something like that. I think that's something for him very good at. So I'm be very, keeping an eye on where Kurt Angle goes and what he's going to do, because he's another guy. If he can come into wherever he goes, he's just going to make it even better. And I think just him and TNA was not a fit, and he did with his thing in TNA, but it was never something that was crazy big. The last bit of story was that Sting put out a Twitter message and basically putting up a date, July 14th, 2014, and it's basically him saying, okay, something's going to happen this day. So it's Monday. It's going to be on Monday Night Raw, whatever it may happen. So, it's kind of ominous seeing what's going to happen. It can be that, he is going to come to the WWE. And if he does, it can be two things. It can be that he just coming there to DVD Hall of Fame and maybe be on the stuff of the video game like Ultimate Warrior, or he can be coming there to actually be a part of the show. So it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do with Sting from here, and what they're going to do with what's basically all this hype is about. So also I want to say, get the network, guys. If you haven't got it, get the network. To me, it's kind of a no-brainer when it comes to this. I've been checking it out, and I've been watching some things on the network. Recently I was watching WCW Clash of Champions. I watched a few episodes of that, watching the match with, I don't know if it was the first Clash of Champions, but it's the one where the main event was Sting versus Ric Flair for the titles. and I think they were joining two titles together, which I thought was a pretty good match right there. Matter of fact, I think it was a very good match. Just the way both characters were played in the match and all the things that they did. I thought it was a very fun match. Also was a match on there with Kurt Angle versus not Kurt Angle, tripping, with William Regal versus, I forget the dude's name, but it was a fun William Regal match. It was a Stone Cold match that was on there. So, get the network. You got a gang of stuff. I know you can just go through all the internet and stuff like that, but you get the network, you can see all the stuff in high definition and, just all in one place. So if you haven't got it, get it. If you're waiting on something, it's free right now. So, yeah, get the fucking network, man. I'm not promoting to say, I'm getting money from it, but, I think it's a thing that's fun, and I think, if you haven't got it and you're waiting, I think there's no better time. You can watch it for free right now, so up until Monday before Raw, so get it. So let's get into main event, and main event happened on the 8th of July in 2014, and the first thing starts off with Alberto Del Rio, Sheamus, who comes into the ring, starts cutting a promo on how he wants to join both titles, the IC and the US title, at the Battleground pay-per-view, and basically saying that, okay, I can get into this and I can do that, and I would be the first one to do it since Edge. He starts talking about Alberto Del Rio and the match that he's going to have later on tonight. And after Alberto Del Rio come on the screen, and he's basically saying he's going to become the United States champion and do the whole IC title thing. This promo right here, I thought it was an okay promo from both guys. It really wasn't any heat. It was just basically both of them pushing their accents and, basically being big-time characters here. Alberto Del Rio saying Sheamus may have drank too many cervezas and stuff like that. So I don't think it's that really good of a promo, but it was okay for what it was to build up a little bit of heat for the match that they're going to have. So they ended up saying that this match was going to be a last man standing match, I think on the website or the app. So ended up getting a last man standing match for the United States title. And as far as this goes with Sheamus and Del Rio, it was an okay match, nowhere near as good as their match that they had on Friday Night SmackDown. I thought that one had a lot of energy to it, and just both of these guys were really rough and brutal in that SmackDown match, and it had no weapons at all. So it goes to show you that you can add weapons and counting and stuff like that. It really doesn't help to make the match any better. So I thought this match was an okay match. You had weapons in it. You had a little bit of brutality. I think every time Sheamus used the kendo stick, it really wasn't as brutal as when Del Rio was using it, and because Del Rio was doing things like coming off the ropes with the kendo stick, and just the way he was bashing on Sheamus, it looked like he was more into doing what he was doing. Sheamus goes through this match, doing everything. He gets out of the armbar. Basically it's the armbar, but cross arm breaker, and picks Del Rio up, put him through a table, and it ends with Sheamus hitting Del Rio with the bro kick. So it was an okay match. Not the worst last man standing match I saw, not the best. It was just a pretty, just generally, average. And as far as that, let's get into the next thing. It was Nikki Bella versus the whole cast of Total Divas. They had, not the whole cast, but they had Summer Rae, Naomi. It was Summer Rae, Naomi, Natalya, Eva Marie, and Rosa Mendes. So most of the cast of Total Divas there without Cameron. So the match itself was pretty whatever. Eva Marie ended up getting the last move, hit a DDT onto Nikki after all the girls was interrupting and stuff. Naomi and Natalya never got in the match, and at the end you get Cameron, who comes out and basically kicks Natalya into Naomi, and then kicks what's her name, Nikki Bella. So like I said, just a very, very fucking mediocre match. Nothing to it at all. The crowd never got into Nikki, into her, this whole beatdown thing. There's really no, as far as like straight up, really hype build up to this match. There's just, little things here and there, backstage segments with Stephanie and one of the Bella twins. This needs to be, if you're going to build this up, this needs to be stuff that's happening in ring and in front of the crowd, and that, making stuff memorable. The thing that they played before this match was the slap to Stephanie McMahon, like damn near 2 pay-per-views ago. So, that's basically all you got from it. So after this, you basically get Naomi, who ends up chasing what's her name, Cameron, down to the back, and the girls just doing whatever in the ring. So next you get a highlight reel with Chris Jericho and Bret Hart. Again, Bret Hart really didn't say too much. They just hyped themselves up in front of the crowd, and yeah, it was just basically putting over each other, saying how much he likes Chris Jericho and how much Chris Jericho likes Bret Hart, and talking about how Chris Jericho did the whole thing with, being one of the guys in the dungeon and wrestling Bret Hart's sister and stuff like that. So nothing too much from it. You get Damien Sandow, who comes down dressed up as Shawn Michaels. They get into a little thing with that. Bret Hart hits Damien Sandow and put him into the most slowest sharpshooter I've ever seen put on. Like, it was just so funny as hell. So he puts him in that, then they cheer at the end. Like I said, it was this whole main event, and it was pretty much a bunch of, like, it was just very mediocre. It just felt like they was doing stuff to fill TV time. I get this being done right here, and this is probably something that could have been done on Raw and probably had a really nice match in this place. But, to hype up these guys, I guess it was okay for what it was. Like I said, it's really nothing to this at all. And actually watching this week's main event kind of made me think that, okay, I'm gonna, just check out, okay, what's the stuff that's happened on the show this week, and that'll depend whether or not I watched it, because I don't think I'm gonna watch it next week if it's another show like it's been for the past couple weeks, where it's, nothing too big happening, and it's just, it's short little segments that mean nothing. I think that if you're gonna have Chris Jericho and Bret Hart on a show, then it needs to be more than just a goofy segment like this. So next you get WWE NXT, and that happened on the 10th of July 2014, and you start off with Summer Rae versus Bayley for the #1 contendership for the NXT Divas Championship, and I thought they had a pretty chill match here. Both of these girls just, went out and did their thing, basically fought the match that they, skill-wise can fight. It wasn't too much that, they're going to go out there and put on a really good match, because I don't think that's where their skills go. They're more along basically character wrestlers, and, they're very strong character-wise, and I think promo-wise they're very strong, but the match itself right here was pretty okay. You end up getting before I say that, you had Cameron, who was watching from backstage, just basically watching on a monitor of what the girls are doing, but you get Summer Rae, who picks up the win with her whatever I think their move is called, where she drops the leg on you, and she ends up becoming #1 contendership for the NXT Divas title. So, like I said, as far as the match goes, it was okay. I thought both of them really showed that who their character was in the match. The crowd was very over for Bayley, and Summer Rae did a good job of playing a heel in this match. So I thought it was a pretty chill match. Next, you get Sami Zayn, who's backstage, and he's with Adrian Neville, and they're basically talking about the stuff that happened last week, and you got Sammy that's asking Adrian Neville, basically asking him, why did he help me out, and they basically start going off on that, and it was an okay segment for a backstage promo. I thought it was pretty chill. Next you get a match with Sin Cara versus Wesley Blake. Yeah, Blake, that's how you say his name. So, as far as this match goes, I thought it was a pretty cool match. I thought Wesley Blake looked really good here as far as his character and what he was pursuing, what he was just showing off and the moves that he was putting out there. Sin Cara, which is Hunico now, did a real nice job of doing high-flying moves, showing his skills and stuff. And I thought Wesley Blake did a really good job of, when he did try to ground Sin Cara, he did the grounding that he needed to do. The match ends with Sin Cara hitting the senton on Wesley Blake and picking up the win here. So, like I said, I thought it was a pretty cool match. I thought it did exactly what it needed to do. You even got the crowd to start chanting Lucha Lucha at Sin Cara. So I heard that him and Kalisto are going to be tagging that, which I think will be a really nice way to not only get Sin Cara over, but get Kalisto over as well. So I thought this was pretty chill. Next you get backstage segment with CJ Parker. Not backstage segment, but an in-ring segment with CJ Parker and Xavier Woods. You get CJ, who comes out and he basically says that he's sorry for everything that he said last week, and he wants to apologize to Xavier Woods. Xavier comes out and says that he's not stupid. He's getting his PhD, and he doesn't really take kindly to the things that CJ said. CJ asks for peace, and basically Xavier just kind of shoos him away. So it's kind of, I guess they're playing the whole the heel is kind of, kind of tricking him a little bit or trying to make amends, but the face has kind of got pissed off at the things that the heel has done. So I don't know what it is. It kind of felt like Xavier was pushing more of a heel side than CJ was, with him CJ being the one to make amends, but I don't understand this. It was a pretty mediocre segment in my eyes. You get CJ who ends up kicking Xavier in the head at the end, and the refs has to come stop it. So this is a part of the show I didn't really like. I thought Xavier would look nice here as far as him having the suit and stuff, and I thought the things that he was saying, his timing with his promo was pretty cool and everything else. But as far as like CJ Parker here, I didn't really like him at all, and it just really didn't flow well for me. So next you get a backstage segment with what's the boy's name? Tyson Kidd and Justin Gabriel, and they're basically talking about the stuff that happened last week and how it was a necessary thing for them to do what they're doing. You get Tyson Kidd not Tyson Kidd, but Justin Gabriel, who goes on about how he was in NXT 4 years ago when it was the whole, contest show, and now he's back here and it's not been a great career for him, but he thinks that he has his ability to do what he needs to do. And I really did like that here from Justin Gabriel about him saying, I'm not where I want to be, but I can be, and Tyson Kidd is helping me do that because they're in the same position. So, and Tyson Kidd basically says nothing and plays that whole thing of him being a heel and him just walking away from promos and stuff like that. So I really did like that here from these two guys, and I thought this was a pretty chill promo for them. So after that, they do a promo package with the Ascension, and it's not them really talking or anything, but them just showing their dominance throughout the whole last, ever since they had the titles. They're the longest reigning NXT Tag Team Champions, so I think that's pretty good. And the crowd is, most definitely behind these guys. And one thing we do see is that they're pushing more tag teams to face these guys. So they're showing that, they beat El Cal and Callisto, and they've just been going through guys, and now you can see that it's a bunch of gang of tag teams that may end up coming up to fight these guys. So I think that's very good, and I like that they're pushing up these guys, but also pushing up these other tag teams. And next you get Bull Dempsey, who is fighting Angelo Dawkins. And as far as this goes, I kind of like Bull Dempsey this week better. I think that he was more aggressive. He was more rough with his hits. He added the impact to them. You can hear him crack when he did like an elbow or a punch to a guy. You got Angelo Dawkins, who came back a little bit but wasn't able to overcome just the raw power of Bull Dempsey. He hit his bulldozer at the end and picked up the win. So I like this better. He came into did a promo basically saying the same thing, that his path is the way to the NXT Championship. So I really like Bull Dempsey here as far as, the way the announcers who were putting him over, which was Jason Alberts, Rich Brennan, I think his name is, and Renee Young, who I thought this set of announcers, along with when you have William Regal and the other guys that be on there with him too, Brian Saxton and Todd Phillips, I think those two sets are really good. If you take out a guy like basically take Alex Riley out, and I think everybody else on the announce team for NXT is really good. Alex Riley is just like the card that's in there that just fucks everything up, but announce team is really good right here, and they put over especially him tonight, saying how bad of a dude he is and how, just street of a dude he is and stuff like that. And I really did like how they pushed him tonight. So next you get a backstage promo with the Vaudevillains, and they're basically hyping themselves up as, okay, we're going to become the NXT Tag Team Champions, and basically saying they're on their way to it. And they did it in the old-timey style where the voices aren't in sync with the dialogue, with the video, and it's black and white with the green and stuff like that. And I like the way they're promoting these guys, and I thought that was pretty chill. After that, you get Sami Zayn and Adrian Neville, who's another backstage segment with them, and this time it's basically them going through, matter of fact, it was Sami Zayn had a microphone, and I guess he took it from Devin, and he was basically talking back and forth with him and Adrian Neville about what happened last week still, and about what they're going to do to the other guys in their match tonight. So I thought it was another pretty good backstage segment from these guys. And now, I keep forgetting what's after that, but I'm getting ready to get into this main event. I'm really hyped to talk about it. So you get another backstage segment, which I thought these were pretty chill, with Tyson Kidd and Natalya. And I think that this one right here just showed, the kind of friction between these two, but it also shows that Natalya wants to be there for Tyson Kidd, and it shows that Tyson may be manipulating her at the same time. So I really did like this backstage segment from them too. And now you get into your main event, which is Tyson Kidd and Justin Gabriel versus Sami Zayn and Adrian Neville in a tag team match. And I thought this match was very fun. It wasn't the best match I've seen these guys in, but this was a very fun match, and it was well paced and well worked. You get this one move where Adrian Neville does a corkscrew off of, like a corkscrew moonsault off of Sami Zayn's back onto Justin Gabriel, which I thought that was looking very nice. And just the way that they played this match was just very good. You had Justin Gabriel and Tyson Kidd be a very good tag team here and do moves that just, worked well to show how their dominance. When they put somebody in a corner, they stomped on them. When they, had somebody on the outside, they tagged out and they went for a beatdown, which I thought was very good. Sami Zayn spent most of the time getting beat down in this match. Once Adrian Neville got in, he started doing moves. He started going really crazy and just beating up everybody and stuff, which I thought that was really good, pushing how strong he is and how quick and just unbeatable he is as a champion, which I really like that. So it comes down to where Sami Zayn finally gets over onto Tyson Kidd and gets him into the corner. You get sorry about that, people. You get Natalya, who starts checking onto Tyson Kidd and ends up getting knocked off when Sami Zayn pushes Tyson into the ropes, and before you can get Tyson trying to check on Natalya or anything, he turns around and he does this face where he's like, oh shit, I can get him. Turns around, rolls Sami Zayn up, picks up the 1-2-3 and gets the win. And the way Tyson Kidd played the end of this match was very cool to me. He gets out, he's cheering, happy and stuff. You get Natalya, who's on the ground on the side of the ring and getting up and stuff. He realizes that, oh shit, I better go check on Natalya. So he does a face where he's like, oh shit, let me go check on her, and he runs over to check on her, kind of playing off oh, I'm there for you, baby, and stuff like that. So, and when he gets up the ramp, he finally starts cheering again and just saying I did it and stuff. I really liked Tyson Kidd in this match, and I thought this was a very fun match, and all four guys displayed their character very well and did a fun job. To me, this was the show of the week as far as Raw, SmackDown, and main event. NXT was the show of the week, and it kind of made me feel that I don't want to really watch the show that main event because it's really nothing happening and there's a bunch of filler stuff. But when you look at a show like NXT, there's really nothing on this show that was really filler. It was all to either present some guy as a stronger guy here, or like in the first match where it's a number one contendership match, or in this match where it was playing more of the story of a guy being his turn into a more of a heel and showing what's going to happen with his wife now, versus a champion and another guy who's pushing to try to get more wins. I thought this was a very fun show, and I would give my rating for this show a B+. I thought it was very fun to watch. It wasn't the greatest show, but it was very fun for me. So next you go into SmackDown, and that happened on the 11th of July 2014. And I thought that this started off pretty nicely with the Russians, Lana and Rusev. I don't know, I was about to call her Oksana for a second, but Lana and Rusev who come out and they're talking shit about the Canadians and Americans. They start talking about Roman Reigns and how he can't stand up to Rusev and can't do anything against him. You get Rusev who comes down, it's a big stare down with them, and then he starts going off about how he's basically going to fuck up Rusev if they get into a match, which they are going to have later on. And you just basically get them and Lana just going, back and forth. What's his name? I'm tripping right now. Roman Reigns, who basically says, okay, fuck your shit, let's fight right now. Lana backs it out and says, no, we're not going to do that. And she puts him outside and says, okay, let's go. Not on your terms, on my terms. So it wasn't a great promo from both sides, but I thought they did a good job of building up something that, didn't have a lot of heat coming in. I was kind of upset that they were going to have a match tonight because I think this is something that could be very well built up for a pay-per-view shot. But, I think there's something happening with Swagger where he can't fight in Canada and he's not allowed to go there because of his DUI stuff. So I'm interested to see where they're going to go with Rusev from here and Swagger and them, but I thought this promo right here was pretty chill. So next you get match with AJ Lee versus Cameron, who was spending her time before the match putting on makeup. And basically Cameron does this to kind of distract AJ Lee into their match, and basically hit AJ Lee while she's distracted and tries to put makeup on her, throws it away, then starts doing a bunch of holds onto AJ. Yeah, this match right here was very average, very, very, very average. They put Cameron into what she can basically able to do, which is a bunch of lock holds and stuff and twirling and slapping around AJ Lee. AJ Lee finally goes crazy and starts beating down on Cameron, doing a bunch of moves and stuff. Cameron really isn't liking this at all because AJ Lee is dragging her around the ring and shit. She gets out the ring and she gets out the ring and tries to leave. Naomi pushes her back in the ring, and AJ Lee hits her with the Shining Wizard. So as far as this match goes, it was okay for what it was. It was very, very fucking average. I like the parts with AJ Lee and Naomi, but anything that Cameron did here, as far as wrestling-wise, didn't help this match at all, and it kind of brought down this match from, just something that could have been interesting to something that was boring. If Cameron was better in ring as far as at least being able to work, I think this match would have been at least watchable as far as, being a pretty okay match. But right here, it was very below average. And they had to put her over as to being a big contender against AJ Lee, so it really wasn't fun to watch that at all. Next, you get another match that wasn't fun to watch. Adam Rose versus Fandango, and you get Summer Rae, who's on Adam Rose's side outside with the Rosebuds, and Layla, who's with Fandango. They start the match, then you get the girls who start fighting each other outside. Fandango goes to break it up, and he ends up getting hit in the process, gets back in the ring, and gets the beauty, whatever the move is called, party foul, hit on them. And the match was very much nothing. It was just set up to more beef between the two girls, and I didn't really care for this at all. So now you get another thing where it's basically this match is setting up guys that are facing at Battlegrounds, and you get Titus O'Neil and Heath Slater in a match with the tag team champions, the Usos, and it's basically them starting off saying that Titus O'Neil, Heath Slater have dumped their ex-tag team partners. I don't know what the fuck that was. Probably a firecracker. But dumped their ex-tag team partners, and they are now teaming up together to fight guys. They start off this match trying to get over on the Usos, trying to do moves and shit, but quickly the Usos get Titus O'Neil out the ring, hit Heath Slater with a big kick off the ropes. Heath Slater tries to jump off and ends up getting kicked in the chest. I thought that was a really nice move. And end up hitting him with the Samoan Splash and pinning Heath Slater in, say, a couple minutes. You get the Usos, who are after the match, basically talking about, with Brian Saxon, about how they're going to beat the Wyatt family at the Battleground pay-per-view, and I keep wanting to say SummerSlam, the Battleground pay-per-view, and they're going back and forth with him on it, and they basically start doing this whole announcer thing, saying, okay, you get one of the Usos start going into his announcer voice and saying, oh, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and the other Usos going to 1, 2, 3, and stuff like that. So it was an okay promo at the end of the match for them, and they also say here that it's going to be a 2 out of 3 falls match at the tag team match at the Battleground pay-per-view, so that'll be interesting. Next, you get a Y2J match. He's going to face Randy Orton. But before the match, you get the Wyatt family who come on a promo thing, is screaming, "Save me, Jericho," and start singing the "Whole World in His Hand" song. And you get Randy Orton who comes out. I thought that was okay for what it was. It wasn't really nothing too big to that segment. But you get Randy Orton who comes out and they go into their match. And I thought this was a pretty good match to start with. You have both guys that were showing some passion here at the beginning, just going at each other. You get Randy Orton who slows down the match a little bit towards the middle, and it never really picked up back that speed. I thought Chris Jericho got a little winded towards the middle and end of the match. He ends up getting Randy Orton he tries to get him into the walls, but doesn't do it, and he just starts going at Randy Orton. They start going back and forth with each other, doing moves and stuff. I thought, what they were doing was very nice. You get Chris Jericho finally gets him into the walls and gets Randy Orton to fight out of it. Gets to the rope, and at one point in the match, you get towards the end, you get the Wyatt family who pops up on the screen. As far as the little distortion that they do, it distracts Chris Jericho. Randy Orton gets him into the RKO, and Randy Orton picks up a kind of dirty win from Wrong picture, but picks up a dirty win from that. And I thought it was a pretty chill match here. Not the best of the night for me, but it was an okay match between these two guys, and I thought they worked very well together. It was just that the timing and Chris Jericho getting a little winded into the match, like midway into the match, I thought kind of drug it down a little bit. Next, you get a match with the two girls that are fighting for Fandango's love, which is Layla and Summer Rae, and they start kissing him at the beginning of the match. Then they start trying to fight each other, and he breaks them both up. And he starts dancing in the middle, just like fucking around and shit, and they just start beating him up afterwards. It was basically a whole segment to show that Fandango's an asshole, and the girls are done with all his bullshit. So they beat him up after the match. I mean, like midway in the match. The match never happens, and he gets beat up, sent outside, and looks on, and the girls just start dancing while he's just looking jealous on the inside, and they're just happy to be done with Fandango. I don't know where they're going to go from this, but I didn't really understand this at all. Like, if they're mad at each other, why now would they, try to just do what they did? It didn't really make too much sense to me. It was just, he broke them up and then started dancing. I guess, his ego kind of drove him crazy. I don't know, I guess, but it really wasn't nothing too big for me there. So next you get a match with Goldust, who's out there with Stardust, and he's going against... you can see it was a lot of fucking filler matches here. Nothing really too big or nothing that really led onto anything like the main event stuff. So it was Goldust versus Curtis Axel, and a pretty mediocre match here. They just them two going at each other. You had Stardust, who's on the outside, getting the crowd happy and stuff, and just basically got on the ring, whatever you call that shit, the barricades, and he was just messing around with the crowd and stuff. He ends up getting on the announce table and fucking around with Axel and stuff like that. That distracts Axel, and Goldust starts beating him up, gets into the ring, and then hits his final cut, 1, 2, 3. After the match, you get Ryback, who starts gumming in and beating down on Goldust. Cody Rhodes, Stardust, who comes in, blows Stardust in front of Ryback's face, distracts him, gets him over the rope, and the guys start cheering. I thought Stardust was getting over with the crowd here. I think that was more important of what was happening. The match itself was really nothing at all. So, it was a average segment at best. Next, you get Bo Dallas, and he comes out. He starts going on about how he's going to be in a handicap match versus El Torito and one of the Matadors, and he's saying that he has the whole crowd as his tag team, so he feels like he's not in the handicap match. I kind of thought it was a pretty funny promo, just him being a asshole like he always is. And he gets into the match. The Matador does his little ONeil stuff, and it kind of fucks with Bo Dallas a little bit. He's laughing it off. And he gets in there, starts getting beat up at the beginning, knocks the El Torito off the apron, and hits the Bulldog onto the Matador, picks up the win here. What really came the fun part of this match is afterwards, where he takes El Torito, slams him into the ring, hits the Bulldog. I mean, before he does that, he acts like he's worried about it. Then he gets trying to pick him up, then ends up hitting him with the Bulldog, and cheers afterwards. I thought everything from Bo Dallas was good, but the match but anything with the Matadors. It was good as character-wise for Bo Dallas, but the match itself was still very mediocre, and really nothing again happened here. I don't know how these crowds would have sat through this show, man. It was like a bunch of matches where it was really nothing but like 2 matches on the show that were actually, anywhere above average. Everything else was average to below, and this was very much below average as the match was. But the stuff with Bo Dallas I thought was pretty fun as far as his character stuff, but it didn't save it from this being a pretty mediocre match. Now the main event, which I was kind of hyped to see, which was Roman Reigns versus Rusev, and you got Lana on the outside. I thought this match right here was pretty chill, and I think it was my match of the night. Just both of these guys going on a big man match, just, knocking each other around. You get Roman Reigns, who tries to hit Rusev and get him on the ground until he hits him with a big clothesline and actually knocks him down. You get Rusev, who comes back and just taking the whole match, doing a gang of like Muay Thai type moves, just beating down on to Roman Reigns and just really putting him down and stuff. And I really did like that here, and it really made Rusev look very strong against a guy who's been in the main event for the past couple months. You get Roman Reigns, who comes back and starts going back at Rusev. He goes into his little his version of a 5 moves of doom where he hits the outside kick and then goes in and does a Superman punch. He looks like he's about to hit the spear, and Randy Orton comes out, distracts him, knocks him off the ropes. He hits the Superman punch on Randy Orton, turns around, gets a big super kick from Rusev, and you get Lana, who makes Rusev get out the ring before he can, you think that she's going to go Rusev crush, and Rusev's going to put him in accolade. She gets him out the ring and tells Randy Orton, basically looks at him saying, go and handle your business. Randy Orton hops into the ring, taunts the crowd, goes down, comes up, hits the RKO, and you get Randy Orton, who stands up tall at the end. And as far as this night goes in SmackDown, I thought it was a pretty below average show. None of the matches here were really all too exciting for me as far as the matches themselves. I thought the Jericho and Chris Jericho and Randy Orton match was okay, and I like to see them, use Chris Jericho in a way to put over another guy. And they did backstage promos where, Chris Jericho is hyping up Randy Orton, saying, he's a tough guy to fight, but he's lost his way. And you get Randy Orton says that Chris Jericho is a legend, but he's a legend killer. He's going to do that tonight. So I like that part with the character stuff, and just them guys who are veterans and what they're doing and putting on an okay match there. And I like the end stuff with Rusev and Roman Reigns and Lana. I liked everything that they did in the match. I thought they had a pretty chill big man match, but as far as the whole night goes, it was nothing there, man. Like, they basically filled out the show with, they had 2 Raw matches on there. Basically, how they do those Raw segments where they just put a Raw segment on there. They had 2 of those tonight, and it really was nothing tonight. So as far as my rating goes, main event gets a C- to almost a D, and SmackDown gets another C-. I thought both of these shows were very under average tonight. So yeah, my show of the week really was NXT. I thought that did a very well job of just being a fun show. Thank you for watching, people. Like, comment, subscribe. 36 fucking minutes in this video. If you get to this end, thank you for watching. You've got it all the way through. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing main event next week. If it's not fun to watch, I'm not going to talk about it. I will just tell you probably highlights that I did like from it. But yeah, I will make sure you most definitely get another NXT, and you will most definitely get another SmackDown. So thank you for watching, people. I'll see you next week. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit me up on Twitter. You can hit me up on Instagram at Competent_Animator. You can hit me up on Facebook at Christopher Wallace. Thank you for watching, people. Good night. Peace.